It is half time in the India 2024 elections match. Elections to half the seats are over. But unlike in a football match halftime, nobody knows the halftime score in this election match. It is a weird situation. Everybody is watching the match, but nobody knows the score. That is, nobody knows how the election is progressing. So there are all sorts of attempts to get to know the score, to get to understand how each political party is doing after half time. Self-proclaimed pollsters, psephologists, they claim to know the election score through some scientific surveys. I actually know some big corporate executives who are consulting astrologers to find out what the election score would be at halftime. There are body language reading experts who watch political leaders and how they behave, how they wave, and claim to know the score. Academics and scholars from foreign countries have come to India, they travel to villages, meet people in tea shops, and then they claim that they know how the election is progressing. And as usual, media commentators sitting in Delhi studios, they give their punditry every day about how this election is the most interesting, most complex, and they know exactly how the election is progressing. The simple truth is nobody knows. All these experts just pretend to tell you what the score is because everybody is curious to know what the halftime score is. But there is one big clue we have about the election. That is from the main person himself, who probably has the most information about the election. That is Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Modi's speeches provide us the best clue about how these elections are progressing so far. It is the best signal. When the election campaign started in March, around March 8th or 9th, the main theme of Modi's speeches was 400 par, which meant that the BJP was going to get 400 seats out of the 543 seats in the Lok Sabha. It was supposed to convey the impression that the 2024 election was a done deal. It was a one-sided game. Prime Minister Modi made 81 election speeches between 9th of March and 8th of May. In every speech, Modi, you mentioned 400 par, at least 4 to 6 times on average in March and in the first few weeks of April. But suddenly, after the middle of April, he stopped mentioning 400 par. As the chart shows, there was a dramatic decline in the number of times 400 par was mentioned by Modi in his speeches. And finally, it just went to zero. He stopped mentioning it at all. 400 par was replaced by Muslim or minorities in his speeches. Mentions of the word Muslim began to rise as 400 par came down. His speeches are what we call in English dog whistles to voters about how wealth would be taken away from people and given to Muslims, how Muslims are taking away everything from others. Modi even went to the extent of saying that the Indian cricket team would soon be full of Muslims. Guess what? The Indian cricket team has won the World Cup thrice so far. 2 one-day World Cups and 1 T20 World Cup. All under a Congress government. Leave that as it may, these speeches have seemed like a despicable rant of a nervous and a scared man. Not a confident, third-term, 400-seat Prime Minister as he started in March. It is, of course, extremely unfortunate that a person no less than the Prime Minister of India should stoop so low to scare one set of people against another set, all just for votes. Clearly, something is wrong. As if this was not enough, what happened recently, just a week ago? Modi took the entire nation by shock when he mentioned the name Adani publicly for the first time in 10 years. He said that the two business tycoons, Adani and Ambani, sent loads of black money in a tempo to the Congress party. It was completely shocking and nobody understood why Modi mentioned Adani, who everybody knows is his best friend. So we have something very shocking that's going on. A sitting Prime Minister of India admits that the two largest business groups in the country have black money and they sent that black money in a tempo to another party. Which means he's the Prime Minister. If he knows that, why does he not send the CBI, the ED, the IB to investigate and get that black money immediately? There is something strange. What explains this sudden change from 400 par in March to Adani my friend is sending black money to my rival, the Congress party. Nobody knows. Nobody knows how the election is progressing. But we know one thing for sure. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has had a nervous meltdown between March and May in the middle of the Lok Sabha elections.